we are on the new planet. Not even gonna try that name. I'll probably be the story. In this first level, research like a boss. Marianne swiped a card across the access panel next to the door. This is your new office. Metal walls, a steel desk, built-in shelving, a terminal, and a console station. A wide window with reinforced glass. I dropped the cardboard box on the desk. Marianne tapped the window and the blinds opened to show the dark, smoldering valley beneath the SpaceChem facility. The sky was dark and heavy with charcoal-colored clouds. Marianne set a few data tablets and a name placard on the desk. I'm in the next office. So you're my assistant now? I'm not a secretary. She straightened the tablets until the edges aligned with the desk. Joel and Tim are gone now, so you may need my help. There was an edge to her voice that matched perfectly with the tight bun on her head and the sharp pressed lines of her jumpsuit. She cleared her throat. You're in charge now. You set the schedule and oversee everything. She gave me a taut smile. Marianne left, slipping silently through the door. The office was identical to Joel's and Tim's. I had never noticed, though, as there were more pressing matters to attend to, and I didn't want to think of Joel and Tim at everything else. The work we did was dangerous, a fact we had to accept. Looks like the training's the same. Okay, so this is gonna kind of hit us with a crazy level. Right off the bat, we've got to get this carbon bonded to 4 different hydrogens to create methane. Output it over here. And geez almighty, we only have 1 bonder. And no sensor. How is this gonna work? I am honestly not too sure. This level's crazy. Yeah, playtime with this game is kind of over. I remember this planet is, it looks like hell because it is hell. Okay. So we know we have to grab there. And this hydrogen is going to be output right here, so we'll do something here. I don't know yet. We might have to go straight through there and... This is going to be a pain in the butt. I wanted a quick, kind of relaxing level. But that's not going to be the case, from what I can tell. Damn, I'm just at a loss here right now. If I had a sensor, I could figure out something or another, but I think what we're gonna have to do is... don't even know. Alright, let's just try this idea. I guess our only saving grace is they only need 1 bond each. So now that I have this, if I go back around and bond again, I'll have 2, and then I could maybe have red finish off the rest of it. That might work. That is actually the best idea I've had yet. But of course we're going to have to rotate, so why don't we just do that right off the bat? Something like that. See what this looks like. I'm thinking I'll rotate the other way, and instead of turning right, I'll turn left. And go back down around like this. Oops. I can't do it right there because it tries to drop another hydrogen right over. Okay. Well, that's half of it done. So if I just drop it, red can finish it off. Alright, this level's not so bad. And then I'll just have blue go back to where he started. Might even go just like this. Throw a sink there. I might need a second sink. And once red sees that first sink, he's gonna go... Why don't we just go this way? I'll grab right on the center area again. I'm gonna need... Now this is where it's gonna get tricky, is how do we go... Let's see what we got. Okay, so what we've got... This bond location might not be ideal. Because red's gonna have to... Well, I guess red could go down, but it's still trouble because there's no way I can do the same move here. But maybe red can go this way. Let's try that. Well, actually, I think what I'm gonna do is have blue drop it a little bit more this way, so I have a little more room to work with. Not be enough still. Oh, okay, I've got an idea. Let's see. Okay, this I think will work, but just barely. Oh, we need a sink here. Oh, I rotated the wrong way. It's gonna crash into this wall. Problem is, before we rotate, we need to input hydrogen here, so we're running out of space again. Well, I could have blue drop it even further out. It seems to be the easiest solution. Yeah, that's fine. And then... Well, B could input one. Let me undo this. B could input it right here. I think that would work. Let's see. Yeah, now it's built that way. All we need to do is have red go through there one more time. This is a tight fit, but it should work. See. Alright. Should work. All I need to do is do one more rotate. Oops. There. It's built. It crashed into the wall, but it's built. And I've got room to spare. I need to drop it one more this way. And then a second sink will tell blue that it's okay to start again. But we need one more sink in there to stop red. Actually, we could put it right here. Nice. Oh, looks like it crashed somehow. What went wrong? Let me watch that one more time. Oh, okay, I see the problem. There's 3 sinks on red and 2 on blue, so they're going to get out of synchronization. So we actually don't need that one. I think this one is going to determine how fast blue starts again. So red's preoccupied, blue's starting over. So let's make that even faster. Alright, Blue, start. It's good. Bet we could even go like right here. Nice. I like this machine, it looks pretty cool. Alright, how did we do? We got it. Somebody was able to get it in less cycles than us. I don't know how, but we did pretty good. Symbols used, we used a little less than most people, so perfect. Another research level. Oh. The intercom crackled as Marianne's voice came through. The SFCM manager is on the line. I think he said his name is Xavier. Put him through. The holographic telephone unit, positioned on the far side of the desk, beeped and an orange light flickered as it turned on. In the field of an orange static, a long face with a pencil-thin mustache appeared, presumably Xavier. He wore a dark jacket with the sharp lapels and a white scarf tucked into the collar. Hello, my name is Xavier Mondragon. I am the general manager of the SFCM facilities on this planet. I presume I am speaking to the manager of SpaceChem operations. His eyes darted about the room, though he could probably see little more than my head and shoulders. I am. What can I do for you? He huffed. Don't act so accommodating. We are well aware of the seismic surveys. Our detectors have picked up your tracer explosions. Why are you trying to scout out our minerals? I'm sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. I never authorized any exploration. I scratched my chin. I knew SpaceChem was difficult to work with, but this is absurd. We found the tracers, and we can feel the explosions from our base. They are no way subtle. He prattled on, spittle flying in the holographic image. Xavier paused, gazing down at me, and I was confused. There had never been any authorization. Go ahead, say nothing. That's how SpaceChem likes you to operate. Imbeciles. We will be in touch again, I'm sure. If you will not heed my warning. His face screwed up in anger, lips turned down and his eyes pinched. The call cut out and the light crackled off as the projector withered. So it's not giving us any more tools yet, but it's probably hitting us with another crazy level, which seems to be the case. Now we've got 4 bonders as normal, but we've got quite a task ahead of us. We need to take this hydrogen cyanide and looks like we need to break that hydrogen off and create this monstrosity and this hydrogen. Okay, well that's not too difficult. We could borrow the hydrogen from here and cut the one here and put them together to make that. And then we just need to bond whatever's left over with this, whatever's left over to create that. So it's not impossible. And one nice thing I'm seeing is there's only one bond to break and one bond to make. So it's just, I think the game is just trying to get your muscles going in the mind of how to do these more complicated things now. I've got to figure out is how I want to arrange these bonders, because we do have to break some bonds and we have to make some bonds. So maybe what I'll do, the obvious thing that I'm thinking of is have red kind of handle this thing and blue handle this. But at some point they have to switch to get out. Well, I'm just gonna go with one idea I've got here, which is to break off this hydrogen and bring it up that way. break off this hydrogen, put them together, or store them up here somewhere, and then bring this down and bond it back in. Or it might be easier to do it right there so you have some more room. Okay, I think this makes the most sense to me so far. So let's just start. Red. I'm just gonna have you input it and then break the bond immediately. Grab that nitrogen and bring it down this way. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, well, that doesn't really tell us much. At the same time, blue is going, and we might need to synchronize to make sure this all happens in sync. Blue, let's break off that hydrogen. Grab it, and let's take it, well, no point turning like that. Let's take it up this way. And we know that other hydrogen is going to be waiting right there. So we can either go like this and just bond it and take it out. That kind of makes this pretty easy. This level might not be as challenging as it first appears. The only problem is we just got to make sure red doesn't crash into hydrogen. So that is easily enough to do with some synchronize movements. So let's see. Whoops. Well, I forgot one thing, is if I grab that hydrogen here, it's going to crash into the rest of the molecules. So we do have to do this. Something like this. It's getting a little ugly. Maybe what I'll do, instead of going like that, I'll go over this way. Nah, that's just a longer run for the same thing. Let's go like that. Oh, I can't go there. I need to go up this way. Because... Red, could you just hold on for one moment while I explain things? I have to avoid crashing into this hydrogen. So I need to go all the way up this way, then around. So hydrogen's going to be there. So we got this built. Let's see how close that was. Are those synchronized just randomly in a decent area? Well, it doesn't make much sense to do it that way because we could just put the sync here and it'll be fine as well. Alright, well this should be pretty easy. Just put that one there. This bond will create that single bond, and then we can just, we don't even have to grab it, we've already got hold of it. We do have to figure out how to make it fit in here. I'm thinking to use rotate, as much as I don't like using that command. Because what I'm grabbing this, I can either go all the way over here to drop it, because as we know, this molecule has to fit in this output area. So I can either do it like that, or I can just use a rotate somewhere. I think I'm just going to use a rotate, because this doubles the, or almost, yeah, it's like 2. So let's see if this works. That'll fit. So as I just drop it here, it should fit. switch these. Now, this should work fine, because with just these two sinks, they'll never crash into each other. If this was a production level, we'd have to think slightly differently because inputs and outputs might get stalled. But even then, they should never crash because blue always has to get here. Okay. Very well. Our machine was a little... it was average speed. Some people were really slow. This would be really fast. And we used just on average symbols. The plot thickens. Hitting us with a lot of stories. That was odd. Marianne stood in the doorway with her arms crossed over her chest. What was that all about? I'm not sure. Check with the survey team, see if they've been doing any seismic tests. Marianne nodded and returned to her office. Several minutes later, the intercom crackled again. I've double-checked with our survey team. They've been idle for weeks without any assignments. Xavier is wrong, then. How do you think they're up to something? SFCM, which is SpaceChem's competitor, was not happy when SpaceChem was granted territory here. I turned to the window. The planet's sable surface was riddled with cradles and scars. Perhaps it was a ruse to goad SpaceChem into action that would result in more unsavory newscasts. But I didn't think SFCM would go to such lengths. Maybe it was something else. Plates shifting, volcanic eruptions. I gazed out the window for several minutes and didn't reply to Marianne. Okay, I remember this level. This could easily take me an hour. We've got something very different here. We've got a huge output area and very simple inputs. This will not be an uncommon thing to see in the future, where okay, I kind of remember how I've done this in the past, and the average way to do things like this is you just have to create these, a module that will feed into this larger object. So what we probably need to do is create these hydrogen-carbon hydrogens, and then figure out a way to, oh shoot, we're gonna have to, okay, we're limited on bonders, so we're gonna have to figure out a way to do this with these two bonders, or 4 bonders. So once we get just that single module done, we have to feed it over into this area, and then bond it with the other modules that we've made, and just kind of feed this chain up. So we'll use this bonder here to create the bond between the 2 carbons, and we'll use this bonder to put a hydrogen and a carbon together. So we'll have to run it through there twice in order to make sure it's 2 long, or 3 atoms, so not just 2. Okay, so this looks pretty hard, but it's actually simple if you think about it in a systematic way. Okay, so all I'm thinking, I want to do this. No, that won't work. Unless I use blue in conjunction. Okay, this will work, I think. So red will go in, grab this carbon, and it's going to need to bond to the hydrogen it puts in. And it's going to have to rotate as well, twice. So this might not work exactly how I have it here, because it's going to crash into this wall. can't really change the layout, otherwise these hydrogens will be all... There's no way to connect the carbon. Well, I just noticed one thing. The hydrogen is right here, so this whole plan won't work the way we have it. We've gotta modify this to look more like this. And that'll solve some of our problem. Okay. Okay, that was foolish. Bonds. Let me watch that one more time. Okay, I just have to kind of flip this. Now at some point I'm going to need to drop this off so blue can take over. Might as well just drop it over here. I think. Though, probably the fastest way to do this machine is to have red go up and start making a new one. Yeah, let's do it that way, because red needs to make a lot of these. Blue only needs to put them together. Anyways. So how... Anyways, I'll figure that out. But we also have this sensor. Now I could use this sensor to figure out, is there a hydrogen, go through the machine again and do it that way, but you know what? I think I tried to do that the first time and it didn't work out too good. You'll see why. Okay. So let's just test that this works. Okay, perfect. We've got our thingamajigger, our module, as I'm going to call it. And now what I want red to do is, he can just drop it immediately, because I want him to start going, or start thinking about just going back up and creating a new one. And I'm going to move the start right here, so it can get real simple. Okay. Pretty happy with that. We could use one less molecule, or one less symbol if we go like that, and it's probably the same speed. Okay, so at one point red needs to hit this sync to tell blue that it's ready and it's done. So when blue sees that, blue's gonna grab it and bring it this way. Or we don't have to grab that carbon, we can grab anywhere on here, huh? Let's try to do this to make it faster. We gotta figure out a way to drop one up here and the next one drop down here. Alright, I think I have an idea. I don't know if this will work. I might have to just test it. Let me see what that... No, that's not going to work because there's no bond at all here. Oh, okay, let's try this. This is an interesting idea. I still got to work out the bonding, though. Oh, okay, I've got an idea. That. So let's see what happens here. Red makes one. Now I already see a problem. Blue needs to wait for the second one. Well, what's going to happen if we drop a sink here? That's not going to work real well, is it? I'm tempted to use this at this point, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Because I could use the sensor to tell what's going on here to blue. I don't think that's a good idea. If I can keep red just making these, that'd be best. But I'm not sure if I can do that. Let's just try this. Ah, here's an idea. Yeah, this might work. Shoot. This happens in programming where you get an idea and you can't quite hold on to it long enough to implement it. And then you kind of lose it. At least for me. Let's see. Let's try that one. Okay, if we hit that bond and just start moving this back up, I think that'll be okay without a sync. I think how I had it might be the best. Let's just see what this does. Oh crap, we didn't leave enough room for red to get its job done. Let's try it over here. The reason I moved that bond risk is because I know I'm dropping it here, so the next one over is always going to be the carbon. Aha! It worked! I built the bond between the two carbons. Now watch what happens. He moved it up one more. Oh yes he did. Yes. So I basically just beat the level, believe it or not. That was the hardest part. Uh-oh, what happened there? Max bonds. I think what happened is red hit a bond right when this carbon was on there and it built two bonds, but we need just one bond. So that's a little bit annoying. We might need to use a second sync to ensure that doesn't happen, but that's gonna throw in some other complications. That might slow our program down a lot. Let's see if there's anything I can think of to avoid that. We're probably gonna need a second sync. I mean, maybe we can. Let's try it here. If we just move that bond, see if it helps at all. Just to throw the timing off by one. I was watching there and I saw bonds going on here. Pretty close. Yeah, it built that second bond again, even though I moved it? I don't know. Out of curiosity, let's just see what happens with no blue bonding. Coincidentally, it hits that bond right at the exact time it needs to. It gives me two ideas. If I extend this a little bit more, it might rejigger the timing to work correctly. But look what else is happening. This is almost done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that sensor somewhere up here to tell it, hey, this thing is 6 pieces long, you need to output it now. And that's going to be super easy. I think right here should work. Or here, doesn't matter really. Or I guess maybe it does matter. Well, let me just build that right now. So when it sees hydrogen right there, oh crapola. I just noticed another problem. Look at this, it's building it, but it's not totally in the output area. These hydrogens are on the outside. So that's easy enough to solve. I'll just move this over one more. And that might throw the timing off enough to that we can do this now. Let's see. It still looks pretty close. Yep, double bonded it. Oh, now this is in the wrong spot. Okay, so when it sees hydrogen there, all you need to do is output. And then go back to your normal activity. Resume normal activity. So, remember the sensor's right here. It's going to see that and go up and out. Now here's my question. Is that going to throw off the timing for the rest of this? So let's see. It might not, because he has to wait there kind of until he sees the sink. So that seems to be working. So that was a lot easier than we originally thought. Now I lucked out because I've done this level before. And I remember some of the pitfalls. I mean, I remember this level took me probably an hour, maybe 2 hours the first time I did it. And I made a cardinal sin on this level. You know what that sin is? That sin is looking at someone else's solution. No! I mean, well, you're looking at my solution right now, but you won't memorize it. Or, I mean, you might remember some of the concept, but you're not going to memorize the whole thing. What I did is I looked at someone's and I was like, oh, I'll just copy that part and then I'll work out the rest by myself. No, don't do that. Because, where do you stop? The next time you get super stuck, you're going to be, oh, let me just peek and see how he did it. Guess what? You start peeking over and over, and then pretty soon you're not even playing the game, you're just copying someone else's solution. Very well. Done. I am going to stop the stream and restart it again for the next level. It's pretty fun. Oh, look how good we did. We were pretty fast. There's a lot of variance on this level. Most people came in this area. And we used about average for symbols. Surprisingly, I thought I would use less symbols than the average person, but okay.